Before you begin this journey, remember something crucial. There are two paths to wealth. One is filled with exhaustion and endless hustling. The other is smarter, calmer, and far more effective. That's the path this book reveals. The Lazy Millionaire isn't about laziness. It's about the art of investing your mind instead of your body, leveraging your time instead of draining it, and choosing strategies that deliver greater results with less effort. This is a guide that will show you why some people work non-stop without getting anywhere, while others build massive fortunes without living stressed, exhausting lives. The secret isn't in the number of hours worked, it's in how you think. The book you're about to explore will reveal the hidden rules nobody told you about, the same rules used by wealthy individuals who make success look effortless. But before we dive into this powerful content, don't forget to support this channel. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Your support helps us bring you more life-changing content that expands your awareness and gives you ideas that make a real difference in your future. Let's begin this new journey together, the path of quiet wealth, built by the mind, not by exhaustion.
Chapter 1. A New Awareness of Money.
This book starts by dismantling the most widespread belief people hold, that wealth comes from constant work, long hours, and draining effort. But the truth the author presents from the very beginning is this: money doesn't respond to exhaustion, it responds to understanding. When you understand how the game works, you can win without burning yourself out in an endless cycle of daily grind. In this chapter, the author invites you to pause and reconsider your life. Does all your hard work translate into real returns? Have those long hours given you the freedom you seek? Is effort alone enough to build a wealthy future? The answer the book provides clearly is no. Work is important, but work alone doesn't create wealth. What creates it is how you invest your time, the quality of decisions you make, and your ability to see opportunities others miss. The author explains that the first step toward a calm millionaire mindset is realizing that wealth begins from within, not without. It starts by adjusting the thoughts that accompany you daily, thoughts about money, success, effort, and work. Then it moves to changing your habits, how you spend your time, how you manage your energy, and what activities deserve your focus instead of those that drain you without results. Here, the book presents a fundamental idea. Not all work produces money, and not all effort leads to wealth. Real financial value comes from work built on intelligence, vision, and seizing small opportunities that multiply over time. This is what distinguishes the calm millionaire from the average person. The first thinks before moving. The second moves constantly without thinking. The author explains that most people live trapped in a single pattern: wake up, work, come home exhausted, then repeat the cycle every day. Meanwhile, successful people change the rules of the game. They don't work more, they work smarter. They seek new approaches, build income sources not tied to their physical presence, and create ideas that can work while they rest. This chapter isn't just an introduction, it's a wake-up call. It tells you that the time we're living in isn't the era of physical strength, but the era of smart ideas, mental skills, wise choices, and the ability to see what others don't. From here begins the real journey, a journey where you leave conventional thinking behind and prepare to discover new rules that make money work for you, instead of you working for money your entire life.
Chapter 2. Breaking the Myth of Constant Work and Understanding the Secret of Smart Effort.
In this chapter, the author confronts you with a truth many fear acknowledging. Constant work is not a guarantee of wealth. It might actually be the biggest obstacle to it. The traditional mindset that links hours worked with money earned has created generations living exhaustion more than results. The author explains that most people work with great effort, but within a narrow framework that doesn't allow them to evolve. They work hard, yes, but in the wrong direction. And working in the wrong direction, no matter how hard, won't lead to wealth. It will only increase the feeling of burnout. This idea alone is enough to reconsider many details of your life. Is the work you're doing today actually leading you to financial freedom, or is it pushing you deeper into a cycle of continuous exhaustion? Here, the book presents the fundamental difference between two types of effort: physical effort and mental effort. The first is limited by your hours, energy, and physical strength. The second can work even when you're resting and can produce multiples of what your hands could produce. The author points out that today's wealthiest people aren't the physically strongest, they're the mentally smartest. They understood that the value of what they do isn't measured by hours worked, but by the quality of the work itself. In other words, 1 hour of correct thinking might equal months of wrong work. The author focuses on an important point. When someone lives inside the pattern of constant work, their mind becomes occupied with execution, but finds no time for thinking, innovating, changing direction, or improving methods. Meanwhile, every fortune in the world started with an idea, not with exhaustion. Here, the book begins clarifying the real secret of the lazy millionaire. Not laziness, but avoiding unnecessary effort. Working smart means knowing what you should do and what you should stop doing. Learning where to focus your energy and where to say, this isn't important right now. The author gives a practical example. You can work long hours collecting money, or you can build a small system that works on its own and brings you money with less effort. The difference between the two is the same as between someone who pulls a bucket from the well every day versus someone who builds a water pipe to their house. The first gets exhausted daily, the second works hard once, then rests. The author also invites you to be honest with yourself. Are you working because the work brings you closer to your goal, or have you become accustomed to working without thinking? There's a big difference between movement and progress. At this stage, the book opens the door to new awareness. Wealth isn't for those who work a lot, but for those who work correctly. For those who have the courage to stop imitating and start asking themselves, is this effort worth the time I'm putting into it? Success begins when you start evaluating your effort. Is it building something for you? Is it opening doors? Is it putting you on a growth path? Or is it just movement keeping you busy without results? Thus, this chapter teaches you that transforming from an exhausted worker to a smart worker requires courage. Courage to stop, reorganize your life, and choose the path that serves your future instead of consuming your present.
Chapter 3. Understanding the value of time, the most precious resource you own.
In this chapter, the author takes us to one of the most important rules of wealth. Time isn't something we stumble upon, it's something we manage. The difference between an average person and a millionaire isn't in the number of hours. Everyone has the same 24 hours daily, but in how each person uses those hours. The author explains that most people treat time as if it's free. They waste it on activities that add nothing, scatter their focus between small tasks, then wonder why their lives don't change despite all the effort. Meanwhile, successful people understand that time is real capital, and how you spend your hour determines your life level years from now. The author presents a core idea. The goal isn't to work more, but to make every minute work in your favor. Here, the book reveals a common mistake. People confuse busyness with productivity. A person might be busy all day, but hasn't moved one step closer to their goal. Many believe they're working hard because they feel tired at day's end, but exhaustion alone isn't proof of progress. Successful people do things differently. They think before they start. They determine what's important and what isn't. They know that 1 hour of focused work might equal a week of scattered work. The author emphasizes that awareness of time's value begins when you realize that every minute you lose never returns, that life isn't as long as we imagine, and that wealth needs a mind that calculates time as it calculates money, because time, in truth, is the currency with which we buy every achievement. Then the author poses an important question. How do you use your time? Do you waste it on what doesn't serve your goals? Do you work on tasks that could be delegated? Do you spend hours on matters that add nothing to you? If the answer is yes, this means you're spending your rarest resource incorrectly. The book advises a radical change in thinking. Instead of asking, how do I fill my day, ask, what's the one thing that if I did today would change my future? This is a question the calm millionaire uses daily, because they realize that real progress is made through focus, not quantity. The author also stresses the necessity of eliminating meaningless tasks that consume energy without return, because time isn't just minutes and hours, it's mental clarity, focus, and the ability to make clear decisions. Through the author's style, it's revealed that wealthy people don't let time control them, they control it. They organize their day, create routines that serve their goals, and carefully choose what deserves their time and what doesn't. Here appears the golden rule. Every minute you live either brings you closer to wealth or pushes you away from it. There's no middle ground. At the end of this chapter, the author reminds you that your time's value is determined by the value of the goals you work for. If you want great wealth, you must learn to respect your time and make it a path toward a better, calmer, wealthier life.
Chapter 4. How to make money work for you, instead of you working for money.
In this chapter, the author presents one of the most important mental shifts anyone wanting to build real wealth needs. People generally live inside one cycle. They work, get money, spend it, then return to work again. An endless cycle that makes a person tied to daily income, trapped by time and energy, as if they're a slave to their salary or monthly income. The calm millionaire thinks in the completely opposite way. They don't ask themselves how to work more, but rather, how do I make money work in my place? How do I create an income source that can continue even when I rest? How do I build a financial system that works in the background without me being its only engine? The author explains that the first step to understanding this principle is realizing that physical effort is limited while systems are unlimited. A person can work 8, 12, or even 16 hours, but a system can work 24 hours without stopping. If you want to break your income ceiling, you must transition from the work to earn model to the build something that earns regardless of what I do model. Then the author begins simplifying the idea. Money isn't a static entity. It can become energy working in your favor if you place it in the right place. Investment, building a side project, creating a digital idea, a skill sold automatically, content that continues generating profits, all are ways to make money move while you focus on your life. The book focuses on a common mistake many make. They wrong themselves because they cling to work that can't be developed or expanded. Work dependent on your presence won't grow much, while work dependent on a system can grow without limits. The author confirms this principle isn't a luxury, but a necessity for anyone wanting financial freedom. Work alone keeps you busy, but a system makes you free. Time alone makes you limited, but a smart idea makes your income limitless. The author presents a simple example. A person can work every day in traditional trade, but remains confined to the number of customers they can serve, while someone else building a simple online store might sell while sleeping. The difference isn't in effort, but in the model. The author poses the powerful question: would your income sources today stop if you stopped? If the answer is yes, this means you're working inside a wrong model. But if it's no, you're on the right path. Then they clarify that transforming money into an entity working for you doesn't need large capital as people believe. It needs skill, an idea, organization, and courage at the beginning. Systems start small, but with time they mature, grow, and become strong income sources. The author mentions that the secret of success in this principle is patience. Build the system step by step. Support your income in it. Allow it to grow, then reach a moment where you realize the system's returns have started exceeding your effort, and your income is no longer tied only to what you exert, but to what you've built. At the end of this chapter, the author presents the big truth. If you want to live with freedom, you must build income sources that work without you. Don't depend only on your hands, but on your mind. Don't depend on your working hours, but on the system you create. Thus, you become one of those who chose intelligence over exhaustion, building over spinning, and freedom over constant busyness.
Chapter 5. A New Way of Thinking. Why the rich see opportunities while others see obstacles. In this chapter, the author opens an important psychological door for us. Opportunities aren't absent. The minds that see them differ. People live in the same world, experience the same events, and observe the same things, yet we find completely different results from one person to another. Some see a problem and settle for complaining, while others see in it a project, a solution, or a door to success. The author explains that the real difference between someone who spends their entire life searching for money and someone who builds quiet wealth is how they interpret reality. The traditional mind views life through the lens of fear. Fear of trying, fear of failure, fear of change, fear of losing what they have. Meanwhile, the wealthy mind sees life through the lens of possibilities. What could happen if I tried? How can I benefit from this situation? What don't others see right now? Here appears the golden mental rule. The opportunity you see, others don't see, and the opportunity you don't see, no one will benefit from on your behalf. The author points out that most people wait for perfect circumstances to move, but the truth is that perfect circumstances never come. Opportunities usually appear amid chaos, amid problems, amid challenges. But the traditional mind runs from them, while the aware mind enters intelligently and invests in them. The author provides a simple example. During economic crises, people get scared and stop trying, but the rich consider them golden moments because prices drop, options expand, competition decreases, and opportunities become clear to those with a trained eye. This is the real difference. The rich don't fear crises, they prepare for them and benefit from them. Then, the book explains that seeing opportunities isn't an innate skill, but a mental habit that can be built over time. How? Through training in positive, logical thinking, through observing small details that people neglect, through analyzing situations instead of surrendering to them, through asking the right questions always. How can I benefit instead of why is this happening to me? The author also points out that opportunities may come in the form of an idea, a new skill, a problem people are looking for a solution to, a missing service in the market, or even a person entering your life at the right time. Every opportunity needs a wakeful mind, not an exhausted mind drowning in routine work. The author focuses on a critical point. Opportunities need speed, but they need intelligence before speed. Rushing without thinking might destroy everything, while smart, quick thinking creates unexpected success. The author confirms that people who wait for opportunity to appear before them will remain waiting for a long time, because opportunities are discovered, not served on a golden platter. The more your mind is in a state of mental clarity, time freedom, and distance from daily chaos, the more capable you become of catching signals others don't notice. At the end of the chapter, the author presents the conclusion. A mind that trains itself to see possibilities doesn't need luck, because luck for them isn't random, but a natural result of an aware mind that searches, analyzes, and responds intelligently. Over time, this mind becomes capable of transforming every situation, even negative ones, into an opportunity, building a path toward quiet, balanced wealth. Chapter 6. Freeing the Mind from Fear, because fear is the first obstacle to wealth. In this chapter, the author addresses one of the most dangerous emotions controlling human life without them realizing it: fear. Fear of failure, fear of losing money, fear of trying, fear of change, fear of people's judgment. These fears, as the author explains, are the main reason millions live exhausting lives without coming one step closer to wealth. The author begins by clarifying a simple but painful truth. People don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they don't dare to try. Fear paralyzes the mind, kills the idea before it's born, and makes a person see every new step as danger instead of opportunity. The author explains that fear isn't an external enemy, but an internal one. It's a small voice in your head saying, "Wait, not now. What if you lose? What will people say? You're not ready yet." This voice is what prevents a person from advancing, turning every idea into an obstacle and every opportunity into a threat. But the calm millionaire does the exact opposite. They don't silence fear, they understand it. They know feeling fear is natural, but surrendering to it is a choice. They see that the first attempt, no matter how scary, is still better than long years of regret. The author confirms that fear is connected to the unconscious more than the conscious mind. A person fears something they haven't tried, fears an idea they haven't understood yet, fears results that haven't happened at all. Therefore, the first step to overcoming fear is clarity. If you understand something, your fear of it decreases. If you try it even once, fear begins to dissolve. The author adds that the biggest fear destroying the path to wealth is fear of failure. People believe failure is the end, while real failure is not trying. Most successful people try dozens of times before reaching success, but no one talks about their attempts. People only see the result. This is what distinguishes the successful mind. It sees failure as a step, not a catastrophe. The book focuses on a golden rule. When you fear something, move closer to it. The more you run from your fear, the bigger it becomes. The more you face it, the smaller it becomes. Then the author moves to another equally dangerous fear, fear of people's opinions. They describe it as a mental prison many live in. They calculate every word, every move, every new step, so they freeze in place just because they fear criticism. Meanwhile, the truth revealed by experience is that people are busier with their own lives than you think. Their opinion, whatever it is, won't feed you, won't build you wealth, won't change your reality, but your fear of them will change everything for the worse. The author points out that liberation from fear doesn't mean recklessness, it means moving despite feeling it. It means telling yourself, "I'm afraid, but I'll start anyway."
This sentence alone is the beginning of every real success. The book presents a smart strategy. Every time you fear a step, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? You'll be surprised that the worst is usually not as dangerous as you imagined, and better yet, the best thing that could happen is worth the try. At the end of the chapter, the author reminds you that fear visits everyone, but the difference between people is how much they control it. Those who let fear decide for them stay in place. Those who decide despite fear's presence advance, learn, try, and build their way toward a richer, calmer, freer life.
Chapter 7. Building Smart Financial Habits, the Quiet Path to Stable Wealth.
In this chapter, the author shines light on one of the most important secrets distinguishing fleeting wealth from real wealth: habits. Money isn't just an event, not just a successful deal or exceptional opportunity. Money, as the author explains, is a direct result of small daily habits that repeat continuously. People generally look for the big opportunity, but neglect the power hidden in simple actions we do every day without thinking about them. Habits are what create your financial personality, determine how you think, how you decide, and how you act with every dollar entering or leaving your pocket. The author begins by dismantling an important idea. Habit is stronger than willpower. You might possess strong willpower for one day or 1 week, but habit is what continues for months and years. Therefore, financial success isn't built on short bursts of enthusiasm, but on continuous patterns of smart behavior. The author gives real examples: someone who puts a small part of their income aside regularly versus another who spends everything they have without feeling it. After years, the first has built wealth even with little income, while the second remains in the same place even with large income. Here we understand a golden rule: it's not how much you earn, but how much you keep. The author explains that financial habits start from 3 basic axes. 1. Earning habits, meaning how you think about increasing your income. Do you depend on one source? Do you develop your skills? Do you allow your mind to innovate new ways to use your time and energy better? The calm millionaire doesn't settle for current income, but works on building new sources quietly and thoughtfully. 2. Spending habits. Most people drift into buying without awareness, making emotional decisions, then regretting them. But the financially smart person asks themselves before every purchase, does this thing increase my value or drain me? Here, spending transforms from desire to conscious decision. 3. Investment habits. Investing isn't a game for the rich, it's a habit. A habit of making part of your money work for you instead of staying static. A habit of thinking about the future, not just the moment. A habit of growing money instead of consuming it. The author confirms that building habits doesn't need massive changes, but very simple steps repeated daily. 2 minutes every day for financial thinking, weekly expense review, allocating a small amount for investment, learning a new skill during the month. These small steps, when combined, create huge changes in your life. Then the author adds a deep idea. Smart habits give you peace of mind. Instead of living daily anxiety about money, you have fixed rules regulating your financial life without great effort, giving you confidence because you know your path is clear. The author reveals the most important habit of all, the habit of discipline. Simple discipline, but stronger than any enthusiasm. Discipline that makes you act even when you're not in a good mood, maintaining continuity when you feel bored or slow, because real success isn't a speed race, but a patience race. At the end of the chapter, the author reminds us that wealth isn't a sudden event, but a natural result of a series of correct habits you repeat without realizing their impact size. Habits create your future, whether you want it or not. So if you choose to build smart financial habits today, you'll thank yourself after years, because you'll find your life changed quietly, without noise, exactly as the calm millionaire does.
Chapter 8. How to build the mindset of financial calm and distance yourself from noise that destroys focus. In this chapter, the author explains a hidden aspect of wealth few talk about: calmness. Money, as they say, doesn't like chaos, doesn't come to a scattered mind, and doesn't live in an environment full of noise and mental pressure. The calm mentality is the ideal environment for financial growth because it gives you the ability to think clearly, make decisions with a cool head, and see the complete picture without rushing. The author begins by clarifying that most people suffer from continuous internal noise, accumulated thoughts, daily anxiety, tension, preoccupation with the future, fear of failure. All these voices overlap in the mind, making a person work without focus, live without vision, and make random decisions not serving their future. Meanwhile, the calm millionaire possesses a rare skill, the art of calming the mind, not by escaping life, but by being able to organize thinking, filter priorities, and turn off internal noise, preventing clarity. The author points out that financial calm doesn't mean slowness or laziness, it means focus. A calm mind sees opportunities clearly, knows when to move and when to stop, and doesn't allow turbulent emotions to lead them. Calmness makes you master of your decisions, not follower of your fears. Then, the author clarifies that financial noise usually comes from three sources. 1. Overcommitment, when a person takes on too many tasks, enters projects bigger than their capacity, or tries to do everything themselves. Their mind becomes occupied all the time and loses the focus needed to build quiet wealth. 2. Social pressures. People try to convince you to work more, expand quickly, make decisions unsuiting you. If you listen to everyone, you'll live a life that isn't yours. Calmness begins when you realize money should serve you, not that you serve others' expectations about it. 3. Mental chaos. Accumulation of thoughts, lack of thinking time, and absence of clear vision. Chaos makes even the best opportunities seem unsuitable because they come to a mind not ready to receive them. Here, the author presents a simple but powerful strategy. Allocate daily time for silence, even just 5 minutes. Turn off the phone, distance yourself from noise, let your mind organize itself. This simple time makes a huge difference in ability for smart thinking and making correct decisions. The author also stresses the importance of building a calm environment around you. Organized workspace, simple desk, written plans, clear goals. The mind activates when the environment is clear and gets disturbed when life is chaotic. Then, the author turns to a pivotal point. Calmness isn't weakness, but strength. Real strength isn't in raising your voice or working without stopping, but in the ability to remain steady when others flee, and in making the right decision when everyone loses their focus. The author clarifies that financial calm gives you a priceless advantage, long-term vision. When a person is calm, they don't seek quick profit or fear slow profit, but trust the path and advance steadily. The impact of their small steps accumulates until building great success. At the end of the chapter, the author reminds you that the path of quiet wealth isn't a path filled with shouting and racing, but depends on mental clarity, decision intelligence, and habit discipline. If you can possess real internal calmness, you become capable of attracting money without chaos, exactly as the millionaire who doesn't rush but always arrives. Chapter 9. How to build parallel income sources that give you real freedom. In this chapter, the author reaches one of the most important pillars the calm millionaire concept rests on: not settling for one income source. Relying on one income is like standing on one leg. You might continue for some time, but you'll fall at the first shake. But whoever wants quiet, stable wealth needs multiple pillars carrying them, so even if one pillar shakes, the rest remain standing. The author begins by clarifying a simple economic truth. One income source means one risk source. If the job stops, the project delays, or a crisis appears, the person finds themselves in a fragile, pressured, scared position with no choice. This fear alone is enough to prevent you from thinking clearly or making correct decisions. The calm millionaire thinks completely differently. They always ask themselves, how do I add a new income source? How do I build something working with me, not against me? How do I create a new field easing pressure on me? Here, the author clarifies that building multiple income sources doesn't mean owning dozens of projects. It means possessing smart diversity. An additional income source might be very simple, but change your life completely. The author explains types of income sources you can build. 1. Active income sources. These need you to work to earn, like a job, service you provide, freelance work, or small project depending on your presence. These are important, but not enough alone to build financial freedom. 2. Passive income sources. This is the book philosophy's soul.
Sources working even in your absence, producing money while you rest, like a digital product you sell automatically, training course, channel or digital content, online store with automatic system, small investment growing over time, or idea executed with intelligence more than effort. These sources don't need physical strength, but good thinking and organization. 3. Recurring income sources, the best income type of all, like monthly subscriptions, permanent services, educational plans, products purchased continuously. These systems build financial stability and make your income steady, not fluctuating. The author confirms that adding just one income source might completely change your life. It reduces tension, gives you space for thinking, allows you to risk intelligently, and frees your time to develop yourself or your projects. Then the author moves to an important point. You shouldn't launch all your income sources at once. Take just one step, then continue. Start with a simple source, learn from it, develop your skills, then add another source when you feel stable. This is how the calm millionaire works. One small step leads to another until finding themselves before a solid financial system. The author mentions that multiple income sources also give you an emotional advantage, peace of mind. You're no longer afraid of tomorrow, no longer threatened by sudden collapse, no longer forced to work under pressure. Your decisions become wiser because you don't make them driven by fear, but by vision. At the end of the chapter, the author reminds you of this rule. You become free when you don't need one income source to live. Freedom begins when you build a second, third, and fourth pillar, however small at the beginning. Over time, these pillars become the house protecting you, giving you calm life, and making you live in the millionaire's style who doesn't rush, but always arrives.
At the end of this journey, it becomes clear to us that quiet wealth isn't a distant dream, complex equation, or path needing superhuman strength or exceptional luck. Wealth, as this book revealed to us, is the art of thinking, not the art of exhaustion. It's the result of small decisions built quietly, habits repeated without noise, and clear vision not affected by the noise surrounding the world. You've passed through these chapters on fundamentals changing human life, understanding time's value, liberating from fear, managing mental energy, building smart financial habits, seeing opportunities before others see them, automating income, and moving in life with intelligence instead of impulsiveness. This book doesn't tell you work less, it tells you work smart, not with random effort. It doesn't tell you sit and wait, it invites you to begin, but from the right place, in the right way, at the time serving your mind and goal, not society's pressure or your internal fear. The calm millionaire's style doesn't depend on shouting or showing off, but on balance, on living your life without burning in it, building your wealth without losing yourself, and advancing with steady steps, however difficult the path seems at the beginning. Always remember that financial success begins from within, from your idea, your clarity, your calmness, your ability to see what others don't notice, and from respecting your time, energy, and mind. If you've reached this part of the journey, this means you're ready for the next step. To change your way of thinking, get rid of habits consuming you for years, and begin, even with a small step, building your own wealth in your way, with your calmness, and with completely new awareness. Before you close this chapter, don't forget to support this content. Hit the subscribe button and give the video a like, because your support helps deliver more of these summaries, changing the mind and opening new doors to life. Your journey toward financial calm begins now, and your future will thank you for every word you invested today in your awareness. Be calm, be smart, walk confidently toward the wealth you deserve.